Hello, everybody. If you're anything like me and you're a fan of Dead by Daylight, then there's probably always been a few licenses that you've wanted to come into Dead by Daylight. But one specifically I haven't seen talked much about, and like FNAF, is Doom, or Doom Eternal more specifically. So I came up with this idea, and I really started realizing how cool a crossover with Doom Eternal could be in Dead by Daylight. Like, really think about it, right? So imagine if there would be an actual licensed chapter in Dead by Daylight with Doom Eternal as a crossover. What would that look like? Well, there would be multiple ways to go about this, but I think the coolest idea would be that we wouldn't have a survivor, and the killer would actually be the Doomslayer, and a map. The map would be like the Gladiator, maybe like the big gore nest level from Doom Eternal. So let me explain. So imagine if Doom Eternal did come into Dead by Daylight. You'd say like, hey, wouldn't maybe the killer be one of the demons? That would be cool and all, but Doomslayer wouldn't really fit as a survivor in that case. And let's be honest, I think that, and I've already found a way with this, if we were just to shift around the lore a little bit here and there, so it would actually fit, then I think the Doomslayer would be a much cooler killer than one of the demons, and could have a lot of potential actually. And this is mainly why I started like thinking like, oh shit, a Doom Eternal chapter could actually be one of the coolest chapters ever. Maybe not that scary, but definitely really cool. Sorry for my bad English, by the way. So, what would this actually like be? So we could shift the lore for the Doomslayer. That wait, let me think. Yeah, so okay, so we could make a certain point in the game Doom Eternal, where, as usual with Dead by Daylight lore, he gets taken by the entity. Maybe like after he defeated the Icon of Sin, or maybe just kind of in between all of his missions, when he's still going at it with the demons. And what we could do is, so he gets taken by the entity, he gets put into the entity realm, and then we could kind of use the white ice theory, if you didn't know about that yet. So what we could do is, as usual with certain killers, the entity could make him see the survivors as his enemies who wronged him, which in this case would be the demons. And just imagine that, just the concept of Doomslayer seeing the survivors as the demons. Because you know how he is with the demons in Doom Eternal, so just imagine that as Dead by Daylight gameplay. That would be actually sick. And then for the power, I'll explain it soon, but just imagine how cool it would be knowing how behavior designs powers to kind of convert the feel of the Doom Eternal gameplay into Dead by Daylight as a killer. That would literally be the sickest thing ever. He would probably be one of my favorite killers. So you can already kind of see we could make this work, that Doomslayer would actually be the killer and not a demon. And so there wouldn't be a survivor, because there isn't really like another character fit. Maybe Dr. Samuel Hayden, but that wouldn't really work. And you can't obviously have a survivor be a demon. And a map would also be fucking cool, because think about it. I don't know the exact name of the level, because last time I played Doom Eternal was like more than a year ago on Google Stadia. But I remember one of the levels was like a giant gore nest that was kind of like infested in broken buildings in like part of a city. And it actually looked perfect to be like a Dead by Daylight map if you just slam some pallets on there and some few like broken windows in the city buildings. That could also be a really cool map, with maybe even some demons on the background, kind of like in Mortal Kombat, how there's always like a creature on the background of the map. And so the Doomslayer, that's where the most potential lies for this chapter. So again, think about it, right? If you put Dead by Daylight's, if you put the Doomslayer's gameplay, how he feels and shit in Doom Eternal in Dead by Daylight, that would be fucking cool. So I'll put some pictures and maybe like some footage on screen, So its loading in animation could kind of look like the way he stands in the lobby in Doom Eternal. So he stands really menacing and he doesn't really do much. Maybe in his lobby animation he could crack his knuckles, or something in that sense. He would probably not have voice lines since he doesn't really say anything, except for maybe like grunts and laughs when he enjoys maybe torturing the demons, aka the survivors. We already established how the lore could work, and that's also just kind of a concept. And wait, what else is there about him? So his height would probably be tall or average. He would be a 4.6 meter speed killer with a terror radius of 32 meters. Now, wait, what was I saying again? Now just also imagine the aesthetics part. How cool would it be to have his terror radius and chase music be in the Doom Eternal theme? Because just imagine what it would feel like to be like walking around as Doomslayer in Dead by Daylight, and then you start chasing a survivor, and you know what song would come on? The only thing they fear is you. You know the song that goes. Yeah, so that would be really cool. I can just imagine how sick that would be. And then the terror radius could maybe be more like a little some of the more calm songs in the soundtracks. I think maybe Meat Hook, or any of the other songs that are a little bit calmer, more fit for the terror radius. His lobby music could be similar to the lobby music in Doom Eternal, obviously. And oh, the Mori could be absolutely glorious, because there's just so many options. Sorry. If you didn't know, Doom Eternal has a ton of glory kills, so you could pretty much just pick whatever one and it would perfectly fit. But I think because there would only be one Mori, obviously, I think the best idea would kind of maybe to combine them all in once, so the Mori is long enough. Or what we could do, because there's so many to choose from, is kind of mix them together a little bit, or make like one really epic one that represents the Doomslayer's feel in general, like what he would generally do. And I think maybe a cool Mori would be that he grabs his hand through the survivor's chest and rips their heart out, or maybe he could grab them by the head and rip them open while he's standing and looking through the corpse menacingly. Or he could, what I really liked from Doom Eternal is he could break the survivor's arm and then stab the bone of the arm in the survivor's eye. Maybe he could gouge the eyes out, he could slam the skull open with his bare fists. Yeah, that was also another idea I had. What if he just dropped his secondary weapon in the Mori, just cracked his knuckles, kind of like Kratos in that God of War scene, and he just kills the survivors with his bare hands, even though he has a weapon. That would be really cool. And then the power. What would the power be? Now, again, this is just a concept. There would be many options, actually. But what I was thinking about, now, I didn't actually perfectly align this to the numbers. But a cool power would be, because in Doom Eternal he has so many weapons, and you kind of have to use all of them with a different purpose, maybe. The gameplay is very versatile, and the Doomslayer kind of feels like a weapon master. He switches up everything. And he's also based around anger. That's the main part of where all the strength and power comes. So I think a cool power would be the logo of the power could kind of be the little logo from Doom Eternal. I don't know what it's called, but the little satanic symbol. And then the power could probably just be called Rip and Tear or something. I think that's a no-brainer. So what would it look like? So he would start the trial as yeah, so he would start the trial with his basic attack just as an M1 killer. Let me actually think about that. Yeah, so he would start off as an M1 killer, but he would So his, by the way, his M1 animation, his basic attack, would kind of be like Nemesis, where he just punches with his bare fists. And this would actually be based on the melee attack animation from Doom Eternal. This would just make the most sense as a basic attack. So he could, let me think. Yeah, so no, he would actually start off as an M1 killer, but he would already kind of have an M2 attack, so not really an M1 killer, kind of a mix. He could maybe like how do you say this? Yeah, so in Doom Eternal there was also a part where he grabs like his switch blade on his arm. It can like switch open and close, and he would like maybe open it. And the blade on his left arm could be like kind of maybe a replacement for the M1 attack, but then you wouldn't really use the M1 attack, so maybe it could have a different purpose. But perhaps it could be like kind of like Pig's lunge attack, where you have to charge up the blade, and then you have a long lunge, and you can cut the survivors that way. So that would so the M1 attack would still have a purpose, but the M2 attack would have one too. Then there could be a different way to go about this, but I think this would be a really cool idea. So the Doomslayer gets more powerful the more he gets mad, right? And he gets mad when people wrong him. So logically, he would get mad when the survivors complete gens. And since he has so many weapons, what if he were the basis power like that? So he starts off as M1 and his knife, and then when one gen gets completed, he could unlock his flamethrower that he has on his shoulder in Doom Eternal, and he could maybe like from a close range set the survivors on fire perhaps, and then the meter would like fill up, and then they would take one health state of damage. Then when 2 gens are done, he could get his chainsaw from Doom Eternal. But the thing is, because there's already 2 chainsaw killers and both of their chainsaws insta-down, we would actually have to make this work differently, because there's already an insta-down power coming up. So maybe the chainsaw could kind of like in Doom Eternal could collect ammo, just like it did in that game, for the next power, which I'll explain soon. And or the chainsaw could maybe like give deep wound or something. I wouldn't really know how that would work. And then if 3 gens are completed, he would unlock his classic shotgun. He would be able to maybe shoot from this from any range, and it would just perhaps maybe take 1 health state or health state and deep wound, and he would have to reload his shotgun after 2 shots, and he would also be able to quick scope. So he would kind of turn into a Deathslinger, but with unlimited range, and he wouldn't have to reel survivors in. And then at 4 gens completed, he would unlock his Crucible, his like big holy sword, and he would, just like in the game, he would just be able to insta down any survivor. He would just have to hit them once with the Crucible, and they would instantly go down. As simple as that. He would probably also be able to instantly break pallets with his Crucible, considering it just chops through anything in Doom Eternal. And then his final power, I think, yeah, at 5 gens completed, so every gen is completed. That's when his another ability would unlock. So from there on, every survivor that has kind of like when you equip a Mori, but it's kind of a mix of Tombstone Myers. So at 5 gens completed, so the exit gates are powered, he would unlock the ability to kill any injured survivor who has already been, who is on death hook essentially. So if you didn't remember in Doom Eternal, so you have glory kills, and when you injure a demon enough, they essentially stand still and they start like glowing orange, which indicates that you can glory kill them. So then you have to like push the button and you like jump on them and kill them. So this would actually work really well in Dead by Daylight, because think about Tombstone Myers. So what you would do is, as soon as the last generator is fixed, if you would injure a survivor that is on death hook, after they're injured, they would start having the same like orange glow effect from Doom Eternal, and then if you get close enough to them, just the same way Doomstone Myers does, you would be able to click the kill button, and then you would perform a glory kill on them. And this is where you could have multiple like tiny Moris based off the glory kills in Doom Eternal, where he would have the different variations. So that would be really, really cool. And I think that would be about that for his power. And I forgot to mention, he wouldn't be able to stack his different weapons. For each generator completed, he gets to the next one, and this previous one perhaps like gets dumped or something. But he would not keep his crucible at 5 gens completed, because that would be way too overpowered. So then he would turn back into an M1 killer with his knife. But he would be able to instantly kill survivors that are on death hook, essentially. So I think that would be a really cool power. It would really fit him, and it would kind of capture the feel and gameplay of Doom Eternal. Lore-wise, he would also fit in really well in Dead by Daylight, and the aesthetics could just be absolutely amazing. And what would his lobby animations be like? I mean, his startup animations. I think he would just, he would probably just unlock his blade at the start of the trial, and his running animation, he would probably just run at high speeds the same way Trapper does in like the menacing walk he does in Doom Eternal, and that would be about it. And I already explained the map, so it would actually essentially not be a chapter, it would be a paragraph, like with Ghostface or Hellraiser or Evil Dead. So there's just one killer, one map, but not a survivor. But I think that would be really, really cool. And I'm actually like really hoping that we would ever see Doom Eternal collaborate with Dead by Daylight, because it would be sick. And yeah, I think that's about it. If you agree with me or you have any ideas, you can leave something in the comments, and yeah, bye.